Thank you so much for spending the time with us today. We're so thrilled to have you at Southern Utah University for our commencement. I think a lot of people want to know, since you're a veteran news person, where do you get your news?
Well, from a lot of places, and that's what I advise everyone to do. If ever there were a time when buyer beware was appropriate when gathering or trying to find out what's happening, it is now, because we're in the midst of this communications revolution where newspapers around the country are dying and growing up like mushrooms after a rain, or all these various digital sites, some of which are very, very good, some of which are just simply propaganda organs, and some of which are in business to peddle phony news, fake news, things that are made up out of whole cloth, because especially in Europe now, we have digital sites that people are operating for profit. They have discovered they can make up stories such as the Pope endorsed Donald Trump, get those onto the web, and actually make money out of it. I mean, there are some surveys that show people tend to believe fake news sometimes more than they believe real news, because it might agree with their preconceived notions. This is a very dangerous thing that's happening right now in how we communicate and how we get our news. So I never tell people, get your news from one source. If it's on the web, check it out. Always be skeptical. Always go to a couple of sources at least before you make up your mind how you feel about something.
So your news you get from multiple sources.
Yeah. I read the New York Times, the Washington Post, and the Wall Street Journal every day at home. I also read the Post probably online the night before. When I get to the office every day, I then probably read USA Today and a couple of other things. I'm depending on CBS News and various sources. But I would never, ever report something that I got from simply one source. I always try to get a backup source.
Good. Well, thank you very much. What role has music played in your life?
Well, everybody has a secret life or a secret dream. And I've always wanted to be a country music songwriter. And I can't sing worth a lick. I can play about 2 chords on a guitar, but they say country music is 3 chords and the truth. Being a country music singer was always kind of, I don't know if it was a fantasy or a dream or what, but I always loved country music. When I was growing up in Fort Worth, we didn't call it country music, we called it music, because we didn't know there was another kind. And I can remember listening to the Grand Ole Opry coming out of Nashville back when I was growing up. I remember it through high school. And I've always kind of fooled around with poetry, and so I started writing lyrics, and I started writing a few country songs just for fun, and I actually got a couple of them recorded. And then there's some folks here at CBS who are real musicians, and they invited me to be part of their band, and so we sing a song or two here and there. We'll write most of our own songs, and I have to say, the highlight of my life, I mean, I've won a lot of awards in journalism and all that, and I'm proud of them, but really the highlight was getting invited to the Grand Ole Opry. And walking out on that stage where Cousin Minnie Pearl and Ernest Tubb and on and on and on down through the years have stood at the Ryman Auditorium, that was really about as good as it gets.
So it was something that you saw when you were young, and the Grand Ole Opry was this phenomenal place, and for you to be able to step out there.
I was scared to death. It was 2008 was a presidential election year, and the next week I was moderating a presidential debate. But I want to tell you, I was a lot more nervous walking onto the stage of the Grand Ole Opry than I ever was moderating a presidential debate, and I moderated 3 of them. Came on after Tricia Yearwood and before Brad Paisley. And I thought, oh my. And I said to Tricia Yearwood, I said, what do I do? She said, don't think about it, just try to have fun. And so I did, and it really was fun.
So would you say, looking back, one of your greatest joys was actually that moment stepping out onto the Grand Ole Opry?
Absolutely one of the great moments of my life, and also one of the most terrifying. I thought, what if I forget the words?
They go hand in hand, don't they? Terror and happiness.
I guess that makes it more fun.
Yes.